Hello, welcome to Yoga with Lucy. We're starting today's practice seated. You can sit on a cushion or a block if you have one. You could be kneeling or cross-legged or have your legs out in front of you. Finding a comfortable seated position. And I just want to acknowledge that sometimes sitting on the floor isn't comfortable at all. And the practice of yoga the movement of yoga was originally designed and came about so that people could sit for longer in meditation. So if sitting feels really difficult for you, maybe you're near the beginning of your yoga journey, just bear in mind that it will get easier, but you can do things to make it easier. If you feel like your hips are a little bit tight, you can bring a cushion. If sitting cross-legged isn't for you, find any version of a seated position. If you need to shift around in the first few minutes and get comfortable, that's fine. So if it feels okay for you, maybe you can close your eyes now. If you're in a space where you don't feel comfortable to do that, you could just lower your gaze so you're not really focusing on anything in particular. And starting to tap into the breath, so just noticing your inhales and your exhales. And if you're feeling a bit tense, if you're holding tension anywhere, you might use your exhales as an opportunity to let some of that go. So letting your shoulders drop away from your ears. Maybe just tucking the chin slightly, feeling some length in the back of the neck. And then we'll take a big stretch, reaching the arms up overhead. Bring the palms together, bring them down to heart center, Anjali Mudra, prayer position. Inhale to do that again, reaching the arms up overhead. And exhale, hands to heart center. One more time. And then we're going to bring the legs out long. You might be there already. Bringing the legs out in front of you. Keep a little bend in the knees if your legs feel really tight here. So if you've got tight hamstrings, sitting like this with your toes pointed up to the ceiling and your legs kind of flattish on the floor is already going to feel tight. Keep a little bend in the knees, release some of that tightness. And we'll inhale to reach up. Think up and over with the hands as you reach forward. Bending the knees as much as you need to, letting the spine round to a nice passive forward fold. You might wrap your arms underneath your knees, letting the head become heavy. Maybe you feel a bit of a release in the lower back here. Deep breaths. Roll back up to seated. Bring your right knee in towards the chest, foot down on the mat. And then we're going to hook the left arm around the knee. Right hand comes behind you for a twist. We're lifting and lengthening, sitting up tall. Use this knee and the hook of the arm as a bit of an anchor here, so you can sit up nice and tall. And then as you exhale, maybe you twist a little bit further. You might turn your head to look over your right shoulder. Bring it back to center. Let this knee drop out to the side. Turn to face the bent knee. And with your left hand, bring it to the inside of your left thigh and start to lean towards the foot, reaching that hand as far as you can. You might get to the foot, you might hook on to the foot, to the toe with your finger, or you might be sat up still quite tall. That's fine. We're going to bring the right arm up and over. So we're not rounding forward here trying to grab hold of the foot. We're thinking open in the chest. Top arm reaches up and over. Both hands reaching towards that foot. It doesn't matter if they're nowhere near. And then bring it back up to center. And we'll switch legs. Left knee comes into the chest. Really holding on to that knee if you need to sit up nice and tall. Don't be afraid to use that as some support. Right arm hooks around the left knee, left hand behind you. Inhaling to lift and lengthen, and exhaling to twist. Bring it back to center, let the knee drop out to the side, and again we're turning the upper body so that we're facing the bent knee. Right hand to the inside of the right leg, reach it towards the foot. Maybe it reaches, maybe it doesn't. Maybe you take your forefinger and middle finger and hook them around the toe. And then your left arm reaches up and over. Rise back up. And we're going to make our way over to all fours. Bringing some mindful awareness to the body. Bringing any movement in on the way that feels good. And then meeting in tabletop position. Knees under hips, wrists under shoulders, fingers spread wide, pressing into the fingertips. Tuck the toes under, and we're going to lift the knees just an inch or so off the mat, hovering tabletop. Feeling that core connection. Maybe you're shaking a little bit now. Feeling that energy through the body. And then we'll lower back down. Keeping the toes tucked, walk the hands a little bit out in front. Lift the knees again. This time we're sending the hips up and back, downward dog. If movement feels good in your downward dog, take some movement. Maybe bending one knee and then the other. If you're feeling a bit more active, you might round forward to plank for a breath or two. And then push back to downward dog. You might bend both knees and straighten them again. Or you might prefer to find some stillness here. Let's take 2 more breaths. We're walking the hands back towards the feet. So you're coming to a forward fold towards the bottom of the mat. Letting the head be heavy, letting your knees bend as much as they need to, so you can really let the upper body hang down. And then from here, we're slowly rolling up to standing. There's no rush to get there. Let your head be the last thing to lift. And we'll meet at the bottom of the mat in mountain pose. So your palms are facing forward. Your crown of your head is lifting up towards the ceiling. You're pressing into the feet. Tiny little micro bend in the knees here. Without looking, lift all 10 toes up off the mat. spread them wide, and then try and place them back down one at a time. You don't have to be able to do that. It's just bringing some mindfulness into how you place the toes down. And then lifting the heels, coming up to tiptoes. And it might just be for a split second that you hold it here, or you might be able to stay for a breath, maybe even 2. If you haven't already, lower the heels back down. So finding some grounding in the feet, tiny little bend in the knees, standing up nice and tall, finding length in the spine. And we're going to lift the left knee, maybe just a little bit, maybe a lot. Reach the foot forward, and we're stepping it down about halfway. Turn the back toes out a little bit, so they're facing, if there was a clock, they're facing 11 on the clock. Reach the hands behind you, and we're going to lead with the chest, starting to lean forward. Finding a stretch in this front leg, in the hamstring. Slight bend in the knee as we lift the left foot up. Warrior 3. And again, maybe you hold it for a breath or 2, or maybe you've already had to bring that foot down. We'll meet in the center of the mat, mountain pose. Again, just finding that grounding in the feet, this time lifting the left knee. Maybe just a little bit, maybe it's quite high up. Reaching the foot out in front and then stepping it down towards the top of the mat. Back toes turn out a little bit. Reaching the arms behind you, shoulders back, lead with the chest, fold forward. Doesn't matter how far, you'll know when you meet your edge, when you find that deep stretch in the back of the leg. Pause there. Slight bend in the front knee, lift the back foot up off the mat, warrior 3. And again, for as long as you want, whenever you're ready, with control, stepping the right foot forward. Lifting the left knee again, this time we're stepping the left foot to the back of the mat. With control, and you can put your hands down for this if you want to or need to, with control, we're lowering the back knee down, untucking the toes, sweeping the arms up. Inhale to bend the elbows, cactus the arms, lift the chest, look up, and then exhale to reach forward. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Left hand comes down to the mat, right hand reaches up to the ceiling for a twist. And then we're going to bring the right hand down to the inside of the right foot and lift the left hand up to the ceiling. Left hand comes down, step it back to all fours. Inhale, drop the belly down, lift the chest, look forward. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, chin to chest, arch the spine, think angry cat. Inhale to soften the belly down, lift the chest, gaze forward. And exhale, tuck the tailbone, arch the spine, chin to chest. Tuck the toes here, and we're going to walk the hands back towards the body, coming to kneeling. Maybe you're kneeling up and you're already feeling a deep stretch in the soles of the feet. Maybe you want to make that a little bit deeper, a bit more intense, and you start to sit the bottom back onto the heels. Inhale to reach up. Exhale, hands to heart center. 2 breaths here. Palms come down to the mat, untuck the toes. It might feel nice to tap the tops of the feet down on the mat here after that toe stretch. And then we'll walk the hands a little way out in front. Tuck the toes again, send the hips up and back, downward dog. 2 deep breaths, finding movement or stillness. Bend the knees, look to the top of the mat. We're walking or stepping or floating the feet to the top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale to rise up, reaching up overhead. You might take a little back bend here and then bring the hands together at heart center. Inhale to lift the right knee. Step the right toes to the back of the mat. And slowly, with control, lower the back knee. Untuck the toes. Reach up. Inhale, bend the elbows, lift the chest, look up. Exhale to reach forward. Inhale, palms come together, reach them up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, bring them to heart center. Take a breath. Right hand comes down to the mat. Left hand reaches up to the ceiling for a twist. Left hand comes to the inside of the left foot. Right hand reaches up to the ceiling. And then we'll bring that right hand down and we'll step it back to all fours. Walking the hands a little way out in front, tuck the toes, send the hips up and back, downward dog. If you prefer to hang out in child's pose for 3 breaths here, please do. We're just pausing, finding that connection with the breath. Big, deep inhales, slow, gentle exhales. If you're in child's pose, take 1 more deep breath and then make your way to downward dog. On your next inhale, we're going to lift the right leg, 3-legged dog, toes pointing up to the ceiling. And then bend the right knee. So your right heel is coming towards the left glute. Knee opens up towards the ceiling. Think about the hips stacking one on top of the other. Open through the hips. And then we'll step that right foot forward, landing it between the hands. If it doesn't get there, give it a little shuffle forward. Just pick it up, move it. And then we'll bring left hand down. Right hand reaches up to the ceiling for a twist. Right hand is going to come down now to the inside of the right foot. And you're dropping the back heel down. Reaching the left arm up to the ceiling. And we're going to bring ourselves up to warrior 2 from here. So really pressing down into both feet. Starting to lift up, right arm forward, left arm back. Looking straight ahead over that front hand. Back hand rests on the back leg, or you might bring it behind your back. Flip the front palm, reach forward, up and back, reverse warrior. Still really bending into that front knee and not letting it drop in, pushing it out to track over the little toe. Bring your right elbow to rest on the right knee. Left arm reaches forward. So we're nice and open in the chest, just with that seated stretch that we did at the beginning of the practice. You're not trying to round forward. You're keeping open in the chest, reaching this top hand up and over. One more breath. Back to warrior two. Circle the hands down to frame the front foot. Step back to plank. First and only plank of the practice. Feel free to lower the knees. We're here for 3, 2, 1, and we're pushing back to downward dog. Take one more deep breath here. And then we'll lift the left leg, 3-legged dog. Bend the left knee and open it up towards the ceiling, hips stacked one on top of the other. And then we'll step the left foot forward, land it between the hands or give it a hand if it doesn't quite get there. Right hand down on the mat, left hand reaches up to the ceiling. Left hand comes down to the inside of the left foot. Drop the back heel down, right hand reaches up to the ceiling. And again, we're pushing up to warrior two, so really strong in the legs and in the core. As you rise up, left hand reaching forward, right hand back. Back hand rests on the back leg or bring it behind the back. Flip the front palm, reach up and back, reverse warrior. Left elbow comes to rest on the left knee, right hand reaches up and over. Fairly light on that front arm, you're not pressing too much into the knee. Take a breath. And we're back to warrior two. Circle the hands down, framing that front foot. Drop the back knee. Step back to all fours. And then bring the knees as wide as the mat, big toes to touch. Sink bottom back to heels. Forehead down to the mat. Child's pose. Really reaching the arms out in front. Come up to the finger pads and start to walk the hands over to one side. Doesn't matter which side. Maybe to the edge of the mat or maybe slightly off. You might bring one hand on top of the other. Let the head be heavy. Let yourself ease into this stretch for a breath or two. And then we'll walk the hands all the way over to the other side. Bring it back to center. Walk the hands back towards the body. And we'll close the practice in a comfortable seated position. Take a big stretch, one last really big stretch, reaching the fingertips up to the ceiling. And then bring the hands together at heart center. close your eyes or just soften your gaze. Take a moment to breathe. I'm closing the practice here. If you want to continue to sit in meditation or lie in Shavasana on your back with your legs out long and your arms by your sides and close the practice there, please feel free. Thank you for choosing to practice with me, for choosing this video, and I hope to see you again next time.